This week on Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast, we talk about the finale of season 2 of Picard, Farewell, and we do a deeper dive into Strange New Worlds' premiere episode called Strange New Worlds. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Johnson.
Hey, Mike. How's it going? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Wow, we are recording on a Sunday. Wow.
Night.
Sunday night.
Because of your vacation schedule.
Yeah, I'm going to be away this week out on an island where hopefully I have good enough Wi-Fi for work stuff. But
hopefully.
I don't know about recording a podcast. So
sure.
I wanted to make sure we had this in the books. And then, you know what? You're going away. I come back and you leave.
Yeah, I'm going out to California for a week.
Oh, but wait, we're going to record again before you go away, right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, I'm going out to California next Sunday.
You sound super excited about it.
I don't like California, but, here we go. It's a journey. It is so far. And it's gonna be a busy trip. I'm not gonna have a lot of downtime, but it's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
And you're gonna have to interact with humans.
That is correct. Yes.
Which, as we were discussing before we cut into the real episode, that you could live like a mole person because
I can.
Well,
as long as I'm entertained, I'm honestly fine. I can go about my business.
Yeah, so I mean, most of your symptoms from COVID are gone, right?
Yeah, just a little bit of phlegm, for those of you that want to know. But otherwise,
is that more than average or is that less than average?
It's a little more than average. I don't usually have phlegm. There's usually some just minor congestion, which is baseline. But
right, that's what I was thinking, that there was some.
But there's more in the back of my throat. It's a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know how that feels. I call that allergies. I
don't have mucus in the back of my throat if it's allergies.
Oh, I do.
It's usually just on the upper nasal canal,
Oh, okay. No,
the back of my throat is usually. That's why I tested, because I was like, oh, I felt some mucus in the back of my throat last Sunday.
Yeah, I've tested 4 times this past week.
That's a lot.
I mean, so I tested Monday, right? Did I test Monday?
I don't know.
I did. I'm sure. Yes, I tested Monday because I was going into work, but also I knew that once you told me you were positive, I needed to start testing. And then I tested Tuesday because not only had you exposed me, but someone at work had exposed me. And then I kept testing Wednesday. I skipped Thursday. I tested Friday. All have been negative. I've not tested since Friday, so
you're probably fine.
I'm probably fine. Yes, I'm not worried about it. Although it's really not, every little symptom, you think you have COVID now, or I do. I don't know about you, but
no, not every little symptom, but.
I mean, I'm walking down the street, my nose is runny, and I think, oh, is this COVID? Even though I know it's allergy. You can't discern
your baseline, your baseline allergies, or just state of being.
No, so just to give you a brief overview, the last couple of years of allergy season has been, so 2020, let's see, or 2019 was, mild allergies. Then as we got into 2020, right, with the lockdown, it actually, the air was much cleaner here. There was so much less dust and everything. I didn't have bad allergies in 2020. And then as things started to open up in 2021, they were a little worse than 2020. And then this year they have just been boom, full blown.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah, so I don't really have a baseline, and I take a decongestant every day. Every day. It's
Like
part
an
of my.
allergy pill, or
Yes, I take an
oh,
allergy pill every
I
day,
do too, every day.
and yet I still have symptoms. So I don't,
365.
So one, I don't know why I have to sign my life away, which is literally the stupidest freaking thing.
What do you mean?
Because I get the decongestant that's over the counter.
Uh-huh.
So you have to sign your life away and say you won't make meth with it or whatever.
Oh,
I
you're
don't
talking about like
remember.
Sudafed or something.
Well, I mean, I get Allegra D.
Oh, Allegra D. Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
or
So
Claritin
that's
B.
Allegra plus decongestant of some sort.
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. Same with
interesting. Oh,
Claritin.
wow.
Like I switched soy last year. I did Claritin this year. I'm doing Allegra. I switch
Oh, that's
just to keep.
intense.
So, and it's still, I still am congested and whatnot. So anyway,
Got it. Got it.
so I don't really have a baseline. So it's really hard. So if I get a runny
Yeah, so
nose or
my nose
whatever,
is always kind of like going and I'm
okay.
always blowing it. And but last Sunday I felt like more on the back of my throat. I was like, oh, that's not baseline. So
Well, there you go. And you were
but you're missing
positive.
out. I'm telling you, you need to get COVID one day because you're missing
Yeah.
out. And then you'll know. I'm like, oh, this is what COVID feels like. Then you'll
I mean,
realize the difference.
it continues to swim around me like I am red meat and COVID is a shark. And yet
Yeah.
COVID still does not take a bite out of me. I don't know why. I'm fine with it. Dennis even said, "Well, maybe you should go get your blood tested. Maybe they should do some blood studies on you."
Ooh.
I mean, maybe. But anyway, yeah, if they want to pay me a great deal of money, I will do that. Sure.
All right. All right.
But
Wow.
anyway,
Wow.
so getting back onto our like Star Trek podcast, this is not an allergy podcast.
Yeah. But we should start one.
Sorry to riff on allergies for like 5 minutes, everyone. So busy week in Star Trek. A finale and a premiere all in one week.
Yes.
A bunch of cast announcements. So we're gonna talk about Picard first. So we might as well get into the cast announcements. And last week I talked a little bit about. I think I talked a little bit about. Did I talk a little bit about Allison Pill last week?
Yes, we talked about it last week. Yes.
Okay. So there was that announcement that was sort of like released the day before the finale. And then so my latest little thing, and I was upset about it later on. I was upset for a short amount of time. I'm not upset about it anymore, but
Okay.
I was on Instagram and scrolling, and Will Wheaton posts a picture of him outside of his what do they call them?
Like a trailer?
Trailer. Thank you. Could not think of that word. His trailer that says Traveler on it. And I was like, oh fuck.
Oh,
You got to
should
be
have waited
me.
like a little bit longer.
I stayed off Twitter. Which is sort of my new home right now. And because I knew that I knew that people would be talking about it, and there's a bunch of Star Trek stuff in my feed.
Sure.
So I stayed off of Twitter, but I didn't think that scrolling through Instagram would spoil me, and it did. And I was upset about it for a little bit, and then I read a post from Will that explained why he started posting about it. So he was like, normally I would give like a day or so for people to kind of watch it and whatnot, but he didn't. But by the time he woke up, so this is 9 a.m., whatever time, let's just say he woke up at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's already 12 noon on the Eastern seaboard. There were already a bunch of stories out about it, by the way. And I'm not going to apologize. Fuck all the story writers who put this shit out on the day of the finale. Like, screw you. You are a bunch of assholes for spoiling people like this. So he starts posting stuff because he doesn't want it to get like, he's so excited about it, understandably so. He's back in canon, he's excited about it. I totally get it. He's kind of had to keep this secret for a very, very long time.
Sure.
So I totally get it. So he starts posting about it because if he waited a day, it would have been lost in all of the noise. like he sort of like as things were ramping up and people were talking about it and starting to post stories on it and whatnot, um, he decided to jump in and start posting his stuff and his excitement. Totally understandable. I read his whole article, like his own post on his website about it. So I totally understand, but I was upset for half a second, mainly because I thought, the big question from last week is the La Serena takes off with Girardi slash Borg Queen, and you're like, well, okay, they save the future. How the hell are they going to get back to the future?
Uh-huh. Right.
And we hadn't heard from our old friend Q in a while, so didn't really, and he's dying, so why would we think, oh, he'll take them back home? So I thought,
I suspected that Q would take them back home.
No, I was like, oh, fuck me. Really, their Will is coming back as the Traveler, which is great, but the Traveler is going to bring them back to the 25th century. Well, that didn't happen, thankfully.
That didn't happen. No.
Right. But these are all the thoughts I had before I watched the finale, because I couldn't watch the finale until later in the day or that night or whenever I watched it.
Sure.
So anyway,
going back to your original point, basically the rest of the cast is not coming back except for essentially Evan and Rafi.
Well, we knew Allison wasn't coming back. She spilled that the day before.
Right.
Trying to remember that she's a wonderful actress and I'm not going to be mad at her anymore.
Okay. All right.
And then so later on, this was just like probably over the last 48 hours over the weekend, pretty much, Issa Briones says that she's not coming back.
Right.
Evan Evagora, I don't even remember how did he say it, or did someone, is it in a story?
No, he posted about it on Instagram, I think.
Okay.
Like 2-3 days ago. I don't really remember.
He's not coming back due to the finale, nature of the finale. Cristobal Rios is not coming back.
Right. He's not coming back.
Santiago Cabrera is not coming back. So I didn't know Orla Brady wasn't coming back, but I guess she's not.
Yeah, she had posted a while ago about that. Like it was like last year or something when they
really?
Yeah, when they wrapped season 2, she posted about it. But it wasn't, she was like, she was something like hang up my ears, around my ears. Something
I do remember that. Yeah. I do remember that. Didn't realize that she was going to be such a crutch of this whole season, though. A piece of it, like this big of a piece of it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, given the finale, I'm actually kind of surprised that Orla Brady and Allison Pill are not coming back. It's a little interesting, surprising to me, to be totally honest.
Well, I'm wondering, I think we're going to get another time jump of a certain amount of,
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll talk about the episode in a second. I mean, like, I'm not surprised about most of these. And honestly, I'm totally okay with Evan and Issa, because honestly, their characters were so insignificant to me that I was just like, whatever, bye bitches, I don't really care. And obviously, Rios, we knew that he was going to get, we've talked about
that was my prediction for
we talked about the whole season. It was a high likelihood that he was not going back. So also not a shock and surprise.
I really thought he was the only one, and then after last week's, I really thought that Evan's not going to come back because his body is going off to the Delta Quadrant. So that was a surprise to have him in the finale, but then to hear these not coming back. But so it's just Michelle, Jerry, Patrick, and the Next Generation cast.
Yep,
really.
Yeah, that's it. Which I'm fine with, because I think that was one of our questions, right? With the season 3 cast and the TNG crew coming back, I was concerned that we would have too many characters in the mix anyway. Between having to catch up with all of them and to juggle these old characters, quote unquote older characters, but so I'm glad they cleaned house a little, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel a little bit differently. I feel like these are the characters that kind of have carried this show through 2 seasons, and so I'm disappointed a little bit. I mean,
I
get into it
guess.
a
I
little
mean,
bit
maybe
more,
it has to
but
do with the fact that I didn't love these 2 seasons. So I'm also okay with kind of a reset.
yeah, I mean you're definitely more critical of the seasons of Picard, whereas I'm more positive of them for the overall, and I enjoy these characters. Um,
Well, I
so
mean, Isa didn't really have to much to do this season, and she played a different character. I mean, and
well, she played her character in the premiere, but
right,
then
and
yes, and
she's
then
off like ambassadoring or whatever,
yes,
whatever.
yeah.
And
So she
then
didn't join the Stargazer crew, so therefore she wasn't with them. Yes. Um, yeah,
oh,
and then yeah, Evan was. How did I? Do you remember? I'm trying to remember. How did Evan did Elnor beam over from the Excelsior to the Stargazer, or did
no,
he just
he was just on
no?
the Excelsior. He had to fix the shield harmonics or whatever.
Yeah, no, he had to do that in the finale, but I'm talking about in the premiere. How did he get from the? He got
Oh well,
transported. Oh,
both he so he and Rafi were on the Excelsior, and then when Q did his snap and they were in the alternate timeline, they were just in the alternate timeline.
oh, right. Okay, yeah, yeah, right. So,
Yeah.
well, shall we talk about the finale now?
Yeah, let's talk about finale.
You considered destroying it, didn't you? Well, let me ask. If that key is not there for the boy to find, does he grow up with his mother? Does the shame instantly lift? But you accepted your fate. You accepted you. You chose the Jean-Luc you are. You absolved yourself. And because you choose him, perhaps he will now be worthy enough for someone else to choose. And maybe this time you will even give him the chance to be loved. I told you this was about forgiveness, Jean-Luc. Yours.
Why?
Well, isn't that the eternal question? Know thyself.
There's been so much loss, so much death.
But you fixed all that.
Elnor, Talon.
Well, maybe not all of it. But Talon always dies in every timeline. This is the only one in which he meets Renee.
I ask you once again, why?
Finish the sentence.
Me. From the very beginning, for over 30 years. Why me?
So you rewatched it this weekend.
I rewatched it an hour ago. Well, at this point, because we've been talking for a
look
while.
at you.
2 hours ago. Yeah.
Super productive today. That's good. I have not rewatched it since I watched it the first time, so you were a little bit more up to date on this.
Yes.
So
it's more fresh. It's more fresh.
You've got it this week. You're more fresh. I think last week I was more fresh. So, and I think I already know where you're going to go with this. I think I've seen and or heard you. I think we probably chatted about this. Oh yes, you sent me a few notes through Slack.
I didn't even say that much because I wanted to save the conversation for when we record
yes, you did. You did say yes, you did save, but you left some strong hints as to where you're going.
I left some emojis. It was just like emojis. It wasn't. I didn't even give you context.
So why don't you start out by sharing your overall impression of the finale?
Yeah. I actually didn't mind the finale. I thought it was okay. I thought there were actually a few strong moments scattered throughout. Some really good character moments, some and with good acting. But to me, the finale is kind of like it's actually, to me, it's very representative of the season. It's very scattershot. I feel that the finale, for the most part, I just felt they were kind of going through like a checklist. they just had to like, let's wrap up this storyline. Oh, this storyline. Oh, so let's make sure we wrap up this character on this plot thread. It was just, and because they had so much to wrap up and they left so much for the last episode, we just didn't really have much of a chance to breathe with these characters and the consequences of these moments. And that was really, that's been my qualm the whole season, right? Like, and I'm not surprised that they just had to basically go through a checklist because that's what they were left with. And some of the moments were just like really out of left field for me. Like, I actually really disliked the Was It Crusher moment. It was just really out of left field for me. I was just like, there was no foreshadowing that was going to happen. And we can talk about it more in a moment, but that was that we got moments like that where it was like, what the fuck? Like, but they just had to like, wrap up the core storyline. And it was, I don't think it was well done. And then even like the whole Borg Queen thing, it was like, there's this galactic event that we're going to solve in 3 minutes. It was just like, okay, I guess that was a threat to like, a quarter of the galaxy, but we solved it. It was just like, what the fuck? It was just like so out of left field. And of course, it's another like existential, like galactic event that we need to deal with. And then it was immediately resolved. It was like things like that. I'm just like, all right, I'm just like, I guess, but it was just like, yeah, I mean, like, but there were like strong character moments, like, like the last moment between like Talon and Picard, that was really good. We'll talk more about Q and Picard in a second. They had some good moments. I have bigger issues with the whole Q storyline, but they did have some good moments together. Like if you were to look at it in a silo, I thought they had some good moments, but then, I have issues with the whole Q storyline from a season-wide perspective. And what the moments were nice. Oh, like the last moment with them in 10 Forward and Guinan, that was nice, but there was just like a lot of moments when it was just like, I think this is another issue I have with this season. It was like a lot of like telling versus showing. Like the Wesley Crusher, the scene it was literally just like exposition. It was just like all just telling, there was no foreshadowing that's gonna happen, like nothing leading up to this moment. It wasn't like some like grand, catharsis of, like Corey's life. Like, it was like, what? Well, all right, I guess she's a traveler now. Bye. We'll never see her again. It's just like things like that. I'm just like, I don't know, but I do think that overall it's kind of the MO for this season, where there's just like these like really big swings, I guess you would say. And then it's just like very out of left field. And then it's like some moments are strong, some are middling. So overall, that's why I'm kind of just like fine with it. Like it was fine. It was like we reconciled some moments. Like there were some like good character interactions, some moments completely out of left field, and everyone's happy at the end. So yeah. What about you? What did you liked it, right?
I did like it. Yeah, I did enjoy it. I do, now that you mentioned it, did feel sort of like a little bit of a checklist, but I felt like we, and I had sort of predicted the Talon piece of this finale.
Yeah, we talked about it last episode.
Which I just randomly came up with on the spot recording last week's episode. So it's not like I pre-thought of that or anything like that, or even foreshadowed that. So there's that. I really did like the moments I liked the moment with Talon and Renee. I thought
that was good too. That was good.
That was a really
that was a strong
good moment.
Talon's great. Like I actually really like Talon's character. I love Orla Brady, so I thought that she was
I do too. Yeah,
season.
Yeah, she was definitely a highlight for this season, and I did like this character of this Watcher. Is it a Watcher considered, or what is she? Supervisor. Thank you. So there was that. Obviously I liked the fact that Sung was kind of tricked. I'm glad that Talon got to die in Picard's arms.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah, the Q piece I thought was really interesting in the fact that, you know, that to put it for lack of a better term, and I've only watched it once, so I can't remember how he put it, but he basically said, you know, gods have their favorites and you're my favorite, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting take on that. So there's that, you know, the fact that Rios stayed behind again, not a surprise to me. Something I had predicted way back, at least maybe episode 4 or 5. Early on in the season, I was like, yeah, probably episode 4.
Yeah,
it was definitely before the halfway point. I had said, you know what, I think Rios is going to stay behind. So there's that piece. You know, and last week kind of put it into like limbo. Is he going to? Is he not going to? Because
we gave a rating. We gave like our percent breakdown, right? Percent like 50% that he's behind. 30% that they're going to go to the future with him, and 20% they're going to separate or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah,
probability.
Yep, that was the probability. So we were right on the odds with that, right in the middle. So there's that. I did like the scene in 10 Forward. I thought that was a nice wrap up in the 25th century before Picard goes back to the chateau. What else about this episode? So
high level.
You know, high level. I thought, you know, I did have I was a little bit surprised and not completely happy with like the 3-minute countdown to save the universe again, in worlds where like half the galaxy was in
peril
because of this.
Yes.
I did not like that. It would have been nice had we had that beforehand and then this rift opened up, which brought the Borg through, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I think that would have been
set up. It just felt very like out of left field the way they did it.
Yeah, I mean, it would have even been cool to have like another fleet, 2 fleets, you know, one with Picard at this opening, but also another fleet kind of, or a bunch of ships examining what's going on in this other part and what to do about it, or some high level, like we are trying to evacuate as many people as we can from the affected areas, that sort of thing, like a scramble. You know, I'm thinking of like, why couldn't we have mobilized like Riker did at the end of season 1? Why didn't we mobilize those 200 starships to go and like start evacuating people from all these affected planets? That would have been cool to see. So yeah, this major galactic event, and being the whole reason that they break through this barrier and start this whole thing, that's a little bit much. But yeah, I mean, it all wrapped up. I think that's what I'm satisfied with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I don't. You know, it was like it was fine. It wasn't. It wasn't like, you know, I wouldn't really say they did a super good job wrapping everything up. I mean, they wrapped things up, but was it really well done? It was all right to me.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, you know, I do agree with you to some extent that there was a lot more telling than showing. For those people who might not have been a Next Generation fan or even remember that Wesley was a traveler, I thought that exposition, that short scene, was necessary to kind of explain things, but also Corey had no purpose beyond the fact that she was created by Sung. You know, once she broke free, what was she going to do? Like, I guess there was some speculation that she would, you know, she might be the progenitor of future Sungs.
Yeah, that
was one of my thoughts, but I actually kind of like this because it kind of takes her off the board, which makes sense. Because yeah, I mean, she was a creation of Sung, and he was sort of the mad scientist. And adversary of, I would say the second half of the season. So there's that piece of it. I thought it was great. I'm not shy of saying this. I'm a huge Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton fan. I really like Will as a human, and I never had a negative impression. In fact, Wesley was 14 when I was 14 or 13, 14. And so I never had
an impression of Wesley Crusher. I just don't think the scene was done very well. And also I was just like, it felt like Will Wheaton talking. I mean, like, I don't feel they really did much of a job in terms of differentiating. It didn't feel like Wesley Crusher. It felt like literally, like, even like the way he was speaking, I was like, he's not, I don't know if it's like rusty with acting. It's been a while, like, and he hasn't really embodied this character in quite some time. But I was also like, he even dressed like Will Wheaton. I was like, this is just Will Wheaton talking to Corey, whatever. It was fine. I have no issues with Wesley Crusher. I just didn't like the scene, like,
no.
And then they tried to connect like the travelers with the supervisors. That was just a big info dump. I was like, I guess, all right, sure. Why not?
I mean, I thought that was an interesting, bigger picture type thing, because the supervisors are from TOS, and Talon is a supervisor, and so I thought that was an interesting way of like tying in some of the higher level players in the universe together in some way, and
sure.
And I like the tapestry reference. I thought that was cool. I thought, I can see how Wesley looking like Will Wheaton. I mean, that sounds like a weird statement to say, but I can see how that would be somewhat distracting a little bit and hard to differentiate. I mean, I've just listened to Will's audiobook, so I pretty much watch Ready Room every week, so sure. I'm familiar with him. I thought that it was, it was a little bit of the same person, that feeling a little bit, but I also felt like if he came down glowing, kind of like the original Traveler that we met in Next Generation.
Obviously he needs to be incognito. I just think that if they, like, I don't know what they could have done, but sometimes, like, even if they were to, sometimes like actors get into a different headspace when they have a different outfit or they have a costume or something. And, a lot of actors talk about this, like sometimes the costumes put them into like
to the character. Sure. Yeah.
Put them into, but literally he dressed like Will Wheaton, and I was just like, maybe at least give him like an outfit change that would make sense for this time period, not too crazy, like, or some sort of uniform that doesn't like, that's not too ostentatious, just so he doesn't literally look like Will Wheaton. I mean, the only thing that was different about him was that he wasn't wearing his glasses. That was it. Like, his haircut was the same, shaggy face.
Yeah.
Literally everything about him was the same. And I was just like, like if they did something, like, to just put him.
Yeah, maybe at the end, after she had heard the pitch and said sure, if he kind of maybe glowed and changed into something more Traveler-esque.
I don't know.
That might have been interesting to see, or if we'd seen them kind of transport away, which I don't think we did really.
We did. They got transported away, but it was like a regular transporter kind of
porter.
Effect.
Okay,
it wasn't the Traveler kind of like glowy effect either.
Yeah, and it wasn't it wasn't the Talon's closet effect either.
No.
The smoke. It wasn't the smoke.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like if there were like just more. If there were some foreshadowing of this or something throughout the season, that Corey was meant for something greater or something or another, maybe I would have been more enthusiastic about it. But it was just very out of left field, like, for me.
Yeah. I mean, she's into the computer systems, and we see Q in the computer systems.
And where does she get everything? She literally walks away from her dad's compound. This is a woman who has never left her space, right? She left without shoes, nothing. She didn't have a computer. She didn't have her a 3D visor, no money. She literally leaves like very like last minute. literally the woman has to have shoes, and she's like in the middle of like nowhere, LA. I'm like, how did she get a laptop, a visor, learn how to hack a computer remotely? Like, how does she even do that? You know, it was just like there were a lot of logistical questions to me. She had an outfit change. Like, I was like, where did this happen? How, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I guess I give that a little bit of disbelief, suspension of disbelief, that piece of it. But I thought that her skills on the computer were completely understandable. I mean, she's essentially Sung's daughter. He was brilliant. That genetic material is brilliant, as we've seen for generations. So, I figured that stuff, what her doing and all that hacking and everything would come very easily to her. That I didn't, and I didn't even think about how she got all that stuff other than she was in a library, so I kind of thought that, oh yeah, using the computer, the library's free Wi-Fi.
Sure. But this is also a woman who has, think about it, she's never left her house. She's never left her house. Literally, she's just literally been a mole person.
Yeah, and I think that's tougher to realize too now that you're talking it out, because it's literally been hours.
Kimmy Schmidt,
yeah, but not even that. It's literally been hours. So once again, for us as the watchers of the show, it's been a week or so, or maybe even 2 weeks.
It's been
since we.
Right, but it's been like 4 days or something, right?
No, it's not even been that. It's been like
since Corey left.
Yeah.
Or something.
So we're talking a day. Yeah. So I think that on a rewatch, if one were to rewatch this all the way through, binge this season, essentially, I think some things would make more sense. And I think this might be one of the situations where, how did she do such a turnaround in 12 hours or 24 hours?
Oh, by the way, Sung was not only set everything up at his home, like, before he also got to the Europa Center before they transported over. You know what I mean? We probably predicted last episode, but literally he's like, he goes home, he sets up the drone
attack drones,
he turns on the audio to trick them, and then he gets access to the Europa mission before they teleport over, which is literally
that's another
impossible. Not possible.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, the 3 days to fix, had we really thought about this and really thought this through, I think giving them a week would have been a little more believable.
Yeah, more breathing room or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just
not
something.
That I would want to spend more time in LA, but
no. But I mean, it would have expanded the time frame a little bit to make it a little bit more believable in a world where there aren't transporters except Talons, really.
Right.
And
this La Serena one, which is gone, so there's no way for Song to get back because Queen, you presume Borg Queen teleport them over. So now, how was he? He was like literally in the middle of nowhere, France, nowhere.
Yeah, right.
In the movies,
So unless he had a recall button that beamed him back to wherever, but that would put him back in LA, but that still doesn't explain all the things that he needed to do in the time.
They used the La Serena's transporters, and that's gone. How would he have gotten back?
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that I have the answers, but I'm just positing
There's
ideas.
Only undo button for the ship that's no longer.
So I think that there's that. There's some time dilation things that are going to make more sense as you rewatch it, but also things like that are going to be like, he just left France like 2 hours ago, and Talon has a transporter. How did he get back to LA from France and build the drones and do all of that? I mean, I guess
he scheduled it in advance. Maybe.
I guess, I think some things that we may have not seen, like the Borg Queen helping create these drones, his 3D fabrication working while he's taking care of Picard in France, all this stuff set up. I mean,
there's just like a lot of these small and the thing is it's also my issue with the season. It's like, if you think about some of these things too hard, definitely there's a lot of issues with the time travel shit. If you think about it too hard, it doesn't work. The Q's plan Like, it's like, I don't know. Like,
well, let's talk about Q's plan because that's a good segue into this. So him being a favorite, and I think, so I don't know. Back when, back after at the end of the episode Monsters, when Talon kind of says, why would Q show you all this stuff? And he was like, I don't know, like kind of blows it off, and like he knew there was more there, but didn't want to explore it. Like he blew it all off. He blew off the idea that Q had something to do with it. He blew off that there was more there that he needed to think about and explore, that sort of thing. And then to flashback to flashback literally, but looking back at last week's episode, he suddenly has all the realization and all, like, is the fact that love is the gift, the message that Q is trying to send all this time. I mean, Talon, I guess, sort of helps him process that a little bit. But then, what next? And I can't remember where he jumped into this episode, what time frame, like when this all
Q
happened. Yeah, Q. Is it just
it's
at the
after
end
everything? So it's after the dust settles, and then Picard is back in the chateau, and he puts the key back into the wall.
Okay.
And Q compliments him, or is like,
Oh, right,
accepted,
yeah.
The boy.
So Rios and Seven and Raffi are all cleaning up all of the butterflies or whatever after that, whatever they're doing, and then they're all back at the chateau, and then he shows up. Okay,
right,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I think my bigger issue with the Q stuff is, and I'm gonna read something. I was like reading forums, and this is it was just funny. It's not everything, but it's kind of like this. So the credit here goes to this commenter. His name is TGE Films, and this is on IGN. And he was like, so Q rescues Picard at the moment of his death and sends him to an alternate reality with Picard the fascist. So Picard has to try to restore the timeline by going back in time to a lame rendition of 2024 LA to deal with his mentally ill great aunt, who's also an astronaut. All the while, Q thwarts Picard's every move, so that when Picard finally stands there while someone else helps his aunt, and after several cast members get killed off, Q can tell Picard that he loves him and reminds him of the song Picard's mom used to play before she killed herself, so that he would recognize that Borg Queen Jurati was trying to make peace with the Federation and cancel the awestruck Picard has set up for his ship. It was like, well, it's not like all there. It's just like, I think it's wow. It kind of says like it's very convoluted. And it also makes you kind of wonder, because Q does kind of like, like he sets things in motion, and he literally like makes things very difficult for Picard every step along the way. But it's like also kind of along the lines of like, why did he have to do all these things, to kind of meddle and all these things? And I think what the problem about this whole world season is that it's kind of like Tapestry or All Good Things, which are two excellent episodes, because in both of those episodes, Q does kind of like, throw Picard for a loop in time, right? But in both those shows, what I felt was really strong is like Picard is the one that causes the problem, like it's Picard's doing. Q just like puts things in motion, and he gives Picard a choice, and it's because of her choices that things kind of like snowball. And then through those actions that Picard takes, he learns a lesson. In Tapestry, he learns to accept the choices of his youth and his wild side, right? And then in All Good Things, he kind of, through what he experiences, he also comes to A, open his mind, but then B, he accepts the crew as his family. But the problem in here is that we took that idea and then made it a 10 episode season, and then you had to add all these like little things to it and like all this like fat to it, and it just like it became very confusing, like, and like I think even you, right, you were like, thinking that the Q stuff could not possibly get resolved this season, and it had to go into season 3 because it was just so all over the place. And then at the end, it was just like, it's because you're my favorite, and I want you to love yourself and for you to accept love. And I'm like, oh my God, like feelings again. It was just like, and Q has no family, even though on Voyager we saw that he has a wife and a son. So I'm like, okay, sure, I guess they don't exist. And Q has no one. And it was just like, you know, sometimes like it's just like, oh, it's a sentiment that I don't know. I'm just like, is it? I don't know. It's just like, it wasn't very convincing.
Yeah.
I mean, the acting was actually good. I said this at the beginning. I thought the scenes between Delancey and Stewart were great. And you could feel that these are two veteran actors that have acted forever, and they generally have feelings for each other as actors. But I'm just like, is this moment earned? Does it make sense? And I feel that if you think too hard about it, it doesn't make sense. Like, especially like everything the Q kind of throws into motion this season. It's like, did it all make sense?
Yeah. You've given me a lot to kind of chew on there, but it's true. Yeah. So
but it's funny. I mean, like, not everything he says, this commenter wrote, but it just kind of like comes to show that it's just like very convoluted. Like this whole scheme that, you know, that Q cooks up. And at the end of the day, it's like, all right, I guess. To me, I was like, I guess. It's like, sure.
Yeah, that's sort of hard to accept when you put it all in that together. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Q is complicated, but yeah, I don't have a response for that. I don't know where to kind of go with that. You know, I think I was also fueling off the fact that John Delancey hinted that he was doing season 3. And so, you know, that's the other thing. I think if you want to go back really quickly to just high level overviews, I really wasn't expecting this to all be wrapped up in the finale. I was expecting kind of a best of both worlds type finale. And I feel like this new wormhole, for lack of a better word, whatever you
are, that has to be the season 3.
Well, I mean, but the funny thing is too, yeah, I mean, you would think so, but then, you know, Girardi's saying, we'll stay here and stand guard and watch over it, and you're like, okay, and then she says she's not going to be back next season, so like, you know, you know, I just don't need the mind fucks right now. I need, you know, like, if that was a mind fuck, I'm going to be even less happy with Allison Pill. Because why would you need to throw that in to an interview to kind of throw people off, and then, you know, one, piss people off like me who hadn't yet seen it and wasn't, you know, didn't have any expectations for what Girardi, the Borg Queen, you know, maybe someone forgot that, oh, you know, the Borg Queen is actually from episode 1. We'll be back at the end of episode 10, we hope, and we'll realize that, oh, yes, it was Girardi, but we had a lot of guessing to do to get there before it became really evident that it was Girardi who boarded the Stargazer in the beginning of the season. But so she was going to be there anyway, and then to like blatantly lie and say, you know, I'm not in season 3. I don't
think she would lie. I mean,
I don't know. It's just, you know, I mean, if the Borg are there, that version of the Borg are there to watch over this new conduit thing. Why?
I hope it's not something where in episode 1 it's like, oh, the Borg ship got destroyed. You know, because I feel they could do things like that. I think shit like that happens. You know,
now you're pissing me off even more.
But they do stuff like that. They like,
I know. Yeah,
just so we can move on. You know, it's like, oh, threat came now and the warship got destroyed.
Because it would have been a lot easier just to blow up the Borg ship as the energy was dissipating. Like it could have, like, the shield harmonics could have broken down enough that she takes on, like, she she rearranges it so that the Borg ship takes the blast from this galactic event that suddenly appears out of nowhere,
But she was
destroys the
on
Borg ship.
But she was on the Stargazer, though.
I understand that, but you know what? The feedback or the death of all of that somehow kills her in the Stargazer.
Versus
this
like hanging thread.
Yes, with this hanging thread now, like because then it would have made more sense. So like, what are we looking at? And that would have been like, okay, yeah, so what are we looking at? And so I think that would have been
this transport conduit. It has to be. If it's not, I would be like, what was the point of that? I mean, but it has to be the premise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and so interesting theory.
A galactic threat of crazy proportions.
Yes. So the one interesting thing that I've heard about this galactic event, this new conduit or whatever, is that somehow it could help rewrite Nemesis and Data would not die, which is really freaking fascinating.
What? Why?
Yes. I don't know. I'm just I don't know all the steps to get there. I don't know the theory steps to get there, but the end result was
please. No more time.
Yeah, anyway.
I can't.
Well, it's a conduit. It's either goes somewhere or goes somewhen or goes somewhen.
No more time travel. I don't want it.
But anyway, it's a theory. It's a theory. We won't know until probably later this year. We won't know till later this year what happens. So, assuming that Picard season 3 takes over, where Discovery usually pops in.
I mean,
which I think is probably a good bet.
It's likely, but
so
if they hurry it up.
So anyway, we just rewrote the finale to better suit our logical minds. But anyway,
well.
But one of the things so let's see. So Renee solves it. We get back to the 25th. What's his Q snaps his fingers. Rios decides to stay. Shock. So then it's just Raffi.
Raffi and Seven have some nice moments. They kiss.
Yes, they do. That's actually my favorite. I really love them both.
And as we predicted, Seven is a captain. Becomes at least a temporary captain.
Yes, even temporary captain. But that's fine with me. I thought that was great. I mean, yes, I thought that the dropping of that in episode 9 by Raffi, seeing that come to fruition, made a lot of sense. So yes, that was great to see her and the captain.
I wish I had more to do, but it was fine. I mean, hopefully we will see more.
Yeah. I hope that next season opens.
2 minutes, but.
Yeah, I hope next season we see on the bridge and there's Captain 7 or Captain Hansen or whatever she wants to go by at this point, on the bridge in a captain's uniform. But anyway, that'd be really cool. So they did have some really nice moments. They are my favorite relationship of this show. And it all came out of
obviously important enough where they are going to be around for season 3.
But
obviously
I also
thought that they had the most to do.
I think chemistry wise, I think also example wise, I think it's a great example of another type of love that they had from the LGBTQ community. So I'm really happy about that. I mean, I was.
Oh yeah, because all the other, I'm thinking the entire TNG cast are just like straight heteronormative.
Well, I mean, every
representation
aside from Dax, and that's gosh, that would be it.
Oh,
right?
From the Rick Berman era. I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, I think having a gay couple in Discovery and having a lesbian couple with very different relationships, although not without their fraught, earning their relationship. But I think it's a great example, and I was explaining on Discovering Trek. I think it's a great example of two professional people and how much they love and care for each other, but are both career path people. And I think that that's a great example for anyone. I think that let's talk about straight people for just a second. I think what straight people think about lesbians is what you see in lesbian porn, right? Or in straight porn. I don't know. But anyway, so I think that is sort of, it's great to see something that resembles a real relationship, and it's not like what all these straight white men are watching on Pornhub. So I think it's great. I think it's a great example for the younger generation to see two women love one another in this way. So I think it's very representative, and I'm here for it. I love Michelle Hurd. I love Jerry Ryan. I do hope that Jerry does some conventions in the future if we
Eventually.
But I also sort of regret not going to see Michelle Hurd while we were at Chicago. But anyway,
oh yeah, she was there.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I thought that's great. I'm glad that they're around in season 3. I think that that's necessary, for a number of reasons. One being representation, but two, I think that getting rid of the entire cast from the first 2 seasons would be not a great move.
Yeah, not get rid of all of them.
We do not need to. We are not signed up for Star Trek: The Next Generation. That is not, and that would go totally against what Patrick Stewart said. Why he wanted to do this series was because it was going to be different. So, I'm hoping that what comes forward in season 3 will be different, continue to be different in a way that is maybe a little tighter, more tightly written.
Yes.
Fewer strings.
Yeah, and maybe fewer surprises left until episode 10, like until the series
finale. Yes, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think everyone, like, I think all of us wanted to be back on the Stargazer probably in episode 8, to be honest.
Yeah, we spent way too much time in LA. I was not. I did not want to be in LA in episode 10.
But I also think that the Stargazer is going to play a part in season 3. I think that makes sense.
But we've also heard that there's going to be a lot more starships in season 3. I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a thing.
Yeah, that's great. So we're back in the 25th century. I think we've covered all the major points of it, and and
then Picard and Laris have their moment at the very end.
Yes. Which was nice. Yeah. So we have the moment right before that too, the 10 forward moment, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Guinan's back. Elnor's back with Raffi and Seven and Picard. So it's, and I actually did like that Q mentioned that there was a gift and the gift was Elnor. I know you didn't care, but I did, both because I like Elnor and also because I thought it was great for Raffi to have that kind of closure.
Sure.
And also for her to kind of, she lived through his death once. She realized her mistakes and forcing him to do things and pushing him for her own insecurities. So I think that that's a nice kind of, after she realizes all of this, the nice gift is that he's there and she can kind of let go of that. And also I think that it's great because her and Seven can focus on their relationship, and I'm hoping that they both serve in Starfleet, or I'm hoping that we really get to see Seven in Starfleet, and that oddly enough, Jean-Luc Picard has more pull than Janeway did 15 years ago. I don't know. So Yeah, I think that's a nice, I'm happy with it. But so I thought the nice scene in 10 Forward was nice. And then we
Mm-hmm.
get back to the chateau and, I was, remember one of my predictions was that because Talon died, Laris would not be there because she was an ancestor of Laris probably.
Yeah, we it's
Which
fine.
didn't happen, which is
No.
good. But I half expected Zaban to pop up and say, "Who are you looking for?" That sort of thing, which I thought would
Yes,
be.
I mean they needed the emotional closure for that story, and then this whole season, the time travel stuff. There's all these issues. Like if you think about it too hard, there's like a lot of paradoxes. It's like,
Yeah.
and how we were thinking, oh, maybe they started a separate timeline, but the beginning, Picard was like, oh, these are the bullet holes that I saw when I was a kid. I was like, okay, so I guess it's the whole grandfather paradox where, if you didn't come back, then the bullet holes wouldn't be there. Whatever. It was just like very messy.
Well, I'm hoping that the guys that they beamed into the rocks like disintegrate somehow, or something happens to them being beamed into the rock. But anyway,
yeah, it's all very confusing, and you shouldn't even. I don't even want to bother talking about it because it doesn't make any sense. But yes, Talon was not Talon. Oh my god, Laris was there.
Laris was there. Her bags were packed. Her bags were packed though.
She was about to go. So
She was about to go.
So same state as she was in episode 1, right?
Yeah,
she was about to leave the chateau.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a nice pullout from the solarium, right? Out into the wider view of the vineyard.
Oh, I thought that was like weird because they're standing in the solarium or whatever, but then when you do the pan out, they're like back in the corridor. Do you remember that? They're like in
a little bit, yeah.
And then it looks really bad CG. It looks like they're like standing against the green screen. I thought it was like a little bit.
I didn't.
You should watch it again. It was like poorly done. Actually, it was.
Yeah, I mean, I have to. I will definitely watch it at least once or twice more. Probably twice more. I do kind of want to watch it on the big screen because So yeah, the benefit. Well, so the detriment and the benefit. So you watch everything on the big screen,
right?
I tend to watch almost everything on my iPad. So some of those details escape me, seeing some of those starships, I have to look really hard at, or once in a while I will watch an episode on our big TV, but so it is dependent on that, but I will try to
watch it again because it pulled me out of the scene because it was
okay. I was just like happy with the wrap up, and kind of like the pullout was just from that angle was just I was just sort of flying on the emotional end of the season and like didn't really like scrutinize it. Again, I've only watched it once, so it was just kind of like that. So well, there we are.
Then it doesn't really make sense to me that Orla Brady is not going to be in season 3. I'm like, the way they ended, it's like, so do they break up before season 3?
Yeah, I mean, what happens? Yeah, and then someone joked, I forget where or when, that it would have been interesting had he come back to the chateau and Beverly was there. That would have been interesting.
That would have been cool. I would have taken it.
That would have been really interesting. But so there we go. Season 2 in the books. And
do you want to give the whole season a rating, or do we want to talk about the next time?
No, we can do it now. And I'm trying to remember. I mean, I enjoyed the first season a lot. You did not.
Yes.
This season, you've been highly critical. I've probably been on the more easygoing side of this season, with a few exceptions. So I'm trying to think of what number I would give, but I imagine yours.
I feel like you gave season 1. Okay, so season 1, I think you gave like a 9. I don't know.
I think so too. Yes.
Yeah,
yes. I think I gave a 9. Yes.
Yes.
I gave it a 9. So it's interesting. So would I give that season a 9, having looked at season 2
I'm going to revise my season 1 score.
Okay. All right.
So
is it 8 the cop out or is 7 the cop out? I forget. I think 7's the cop out.
Is it a cop
I
out?
would. Yeah, so a complete aside for just a second, like, I was on a call once and they said, okay, rate this from 1 to 10,
Okay.
but you can't choose 7.
Oh, really?
So
Interesting.
you either have to say 8 or 6, like which are two different things, right?
Yes.
And I thought, oh, that's really good. Like seven's like a cop out. So
7 is passing.
What?
7 would be passing. That's like getting a 70 on a test. It's like
that's sort of like, but for me, that would be like you're sitting on the fence. Like pick a side of the fence. I'm gonna say season 1 was an 8. I'm going to say that season 2. Oh, man, I want to say an 8.5. Yeah, I don't think it's a 9. Marginally better.
9's really high. 9's like excellent.
I think 8.5 is a fair number for season 2 if I revise my first season to 8. Okay. Now you gave the first season, if I remember correctly, a 4.
No, I gave season 1 a 7.
You did?
I did. Yes.
Oh wow. All right. Yes. So all right. Do you think yourself 2 years ago would have if I'd forced you to say 7's not an answer? Would you have gone 8 or 6?
6.
You probably would have 6. You would have gone 6. So yes. All right. So you gave previously on a never before released podcast, which we do have recorded somewhere. I think
we no. By the time we gave the season the score, I think we were recording. I think we were. Oh, okay. We were. Yeah,
but I don't think it wasn't. I don't think we released it. Remember, we did 10 episodes.
I think we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Nobody's gonna go back.
No,
anyway.
I'm just curious. I'm still talking, but I'm not gonna see what.
So all right. So you would revise your previous 7 to a 6. Are you going to revise that 6?
I would actually revise my season 1 score to a 5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So all right. So you gave
episode 2, season 1 review of Picard.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Episode 2 of this. Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. Season 1, I would give a 5. I'm not gonna rehash too many of my points about season 1, but it was like, a lot of goodwill that went nowhere. That would be my.
That's a good summary for you. Yeah.
A lot of goodwill that went nowhere.
Yeah.
Season 2, I would give a 6.5. Or if you force me to choose a whole number, I'll give it a 6. I think that there were fewer dangling threads. I think that the season started out really strong. We both really liked episode 1 and episode 2. We thought came out of the gate really strong setup, strong reset the characters, great premise. And then I think it was just a lot of wasted potential. There was a lot of meandering. We had no idea what's happening with the larger plan, as I already said. There were episodes where complete waste of time. The ice stuff, the gala, I didn't mind the FBI agent Wells, but even that was another, there were a lot of these side quests, as I call it.
Side quests, yes.
Side stories, and they could have probably shaved 3 episodes off the season, and written a much tighter season if they wanted to. It was just a lot of meandering. I don't think they wasted as much goodwill on this season, because at least they they finished what they started, but I do think that there was some wasted potential and too much fat that could have been trimmed.
I did an 8.5, so I'll allow you a 6.5. I think that's fair. It's an improvement on season 1. So
yes, it's an improvement on season 1. But is it as good as Strange New Worlds? No.
Okay. Well, there you go. 8.5, 6.5. That sounds about right for us.
Yes.
That sounds on par with you and I as people. So great.
On par.
Well,
yes.
we have.
In line.
What's that? That is in line with us.
Yeah, we are. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
On brand.
There we go. Yes, it is on brand for Deep Space Pride right there.
Yes.
And it's 2 hosts. All right. Well, normally this would be where we would say, do a fan sets thing and say goodbye for the week. But this week we have a whole nother episode, which we've sort of alluded to last week on some high level things. I've rewatched it earlier this week. I know you've rewatched it this weekend. The premiere, which at the moment, what happened is that I rewatched the premiere, and then I think the next day I watched, because we have an early advanced copy of it, I finally watched 104.
Oh, great!
And that is in my mind right now, so I have to
excellent episode.
Rewind. I have to rewind.
Would you agree that that's a very strong episode?
Yes, I would, but we'll save that for when it comes out live.
We're not going to spoil it, but. Yes.
We're definitely not. No.
I loved episode.
Yeah, I thought that was a strong episode. But I did watch it after rewatching the premiere. So, going back to the premiere of Strange New Worlds, which is called Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
Spock. Are you naked?
No, Captain.
No, Chris, he's not. He was about to be. It's a special night.
Sorry.
Is everything all right, Captain?
We're going back out. Number 1's gone missing, Spock. April's sending us to find her.
I will meet you on board, Captain. T'Pring will understand.
Pike out.
Spock out.
That should have been a query. Whether or not I would understand.
I am sorry.
Don't make a habit of it. I won't chase you across the galaxy just to get married.
There is no need to chase what we already have, T'Pring.
I still think this is one. We thought that Lower Decks was a strong first season, and a strong opening, right? Right from the get go, we enjoyed Strange New Worlds. We thought that Prodigy was really strong as well. You know what? I'm going to give Alex Kurtzman a 3 for 3 here. And say that so let's see, Lower Decks is the 3rd show, Prodigy is the 4th show, and now Strange New Worlds is the 5th show. So I would say that his last 3 outings as executive producer are pretty stellar.
I'll give you that.
So this is a stellar start to a new series. We meet a lot of the crew. We see a lot of cool interactions, and I don't really know how to go about talking about this because it's an episode. I mean, it's an episode, it's an episodic show, but I
think that's the thing that's great that I also prefaced when we spoke last week is that each of these episodes also has a central character, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that one of the ways that we can talk about this episode is, it's obviously it's about Christopher Pike. Like that, there's obviously a lot about other characters as well. Like there's a lot about Spock and like a little about
Lon.
Yeah, a little bit of Lon, but
this not a lot about
it. This was a Christopher Pike episode.
Yes, yeah, this is definitely a Christopher Pike episode. Yes.
So I think
we saw
value it through that lens, maybe.
Okay, that's a great way to look at it. I loved Pike in season 2 of Discovery.
Yes.
Huge fan. Huge fan. Yes. I love Anson Mount, first of all. I think he's awesome. Super human being. So I think that he embodies this character, and I love. So the other thing, first of all, I really love the fact that this comes out of the gates probably a few months after Discovery,
the season 2 finale.
Yeah. So if we, there was some mission that happened not too long after. No. So yeah, I don't know where they're jumping around in here, because if you remember, Discovery ends and we get like a couple of minutes of the Enterprise as the kind of closure to season 2 of Discovery. and I think it's
and
been
everything's being
120
classified
days.
or whatever.
Yeah, everything's been
Talking about.
classified, which happened probably immediately after it, but the Enterprise is going back out after 120 days or so.
Oh, right.
So I
You're
think
right.
that this episode, timeline-wise, actually predates that episode. And having watched 104, I sort of see why. But I'm not gonna. We can talk about this off screen, not on the recording, because I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Right.
So I think that this.
Yeah, I didn't even try
that.
to reconcile. I forgot about that.
Yes,
because they went out.
It's 120 days or whatever. Spock is doing his.
Because they see the final red burst.
Yes. And it's Spock's personal log, and he states that I'm pretty sure he states it's been 120 odd days since.
I didn't even try to reconcile.
It's a length of time. I'm just doing this out loud right now as we're talking about this because I'm suddenly putting this all into place. Because this episode really takes place not long after Discovery ends season 2. So it falls in between Discovery goes to the future, and
we just see if there's a star date on Spock's log.
So all right, hold on. No, don't pay no attention. If you go back and watch these first couple of episodes, the star dates make no sense to me. They're all over the place.
1759 or something.
They're all but every episode is so far off the last one. They're all so different. Like whoever's writing this does not understand star dates, and we just like stop it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even paying attention. I remember because they show the star date when we're in Montana or something. It's like 1759. I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
something like that.
Pay no attention to the star dates. So yes, my first advice is if you're a longtime Star Trek fan and you like grew up in TOS and Next Generation, even somewhat, Deep Space Nine,
TNG started making more. I mean, they revised the star date system in TNG, and it started to make a little more sense because the first digit would be like, or something.
41005.
The second digit would be like a year. It would be like a. It would
be the season year. Yeah. It would be the season year. Yeah. So these dates don't make any difference. So pay them no mind. Really, it's annoying AF, but pay them no mind. So this episode takes place in between when Discovery goes to the future and the personal log of Spock.
Okay.
Which is and now I've thought of something else. So that doesn't make sense because Spock had a full beard and then he came onto the bridge without a full beard. So there's that.
And do you think that the
so weird,
the Riley 279 or whatever, they could have developed like not atomic, but like a warp bomb so quickly? I
don't know. I mean, they had satellites, right? They had
they detected what was going on in the flight with control, but it's like how quickly can you extrapolate all of that and then build
right. So this is what I'm talking about. The timeline, the timeline doesn't seem exactly.
I wouldn't try too hard to reconcile it, to be honest.
Yeah, and in fact, now that I think about the shaved face of Spock when he goes onto the bridge, is sort of like so it doesn't all make sense. So I don't know when this starts off because it's meant to think that this is immediately after like Discovery and like the whole
and they're in space dock getting repaired.
They're getting repaired, but anyway,
think too much.
All right, not gonna think too hard about this because it's already hurting my head. And so anyway, let's so I think right out of the gates, like seeing Christopher Pike being this, I would haunted to some extent, haunted by his future, which is an interesting idea, right? Haunted by his future. Usually we're haunted by our past. In this case, he's haunted by his future, and I think
his fate. Yeah,
by his fate, and I think that the moments that Spock catches him and says Captain, and he's like kind of frozen in the bridge when they're about to leave. And then he sees it in his quarters and a few other times. I speaking of which, I really did like the talk that Spock has with the captain.
Excellent conversation. Yes, it was so good. So good.
Just be the captain. Be the captain. Yeah. I thought that was excellent. I loved the introduction of Nurse Chapel and how she just her playfulness, right? She's so playful. Like she's kind of like,
well, everyone's a little, other than I think Uhura, who's a little bit stiff because she's like a cadet and she's trying to be proper, but I feel everyone else is very, very playful, very
comfortable. Not Lon.
No, sorry. Lon is Lon.
Because she's the new addition to the crew, right? So M'Benga's been there before. He introduces Chapel. That's all fine. They have a pre-existing relationship of knowing each other. Obviously Pike knows M'Benga. So number one, who else we got? Ortegas.
Yes, great.
Who's great in this episode as well. We don't really get Hemmer until the end.
Yeah, he's transfers on.
It's kind of a not part of this episode really. And then who else are we missing? We've got the cutie Chief Kyle, which
yes. He's fine.
Yes.
He's fine.
All right. He's better than fine.
Ethan Peck is more my type. I mean, yeah,
I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I follow a number of gay Star Trek fans on Twitter, and I've seen both Chief Kyle and I've seen both Ethan Peck on Vulcan posted in their feeds. So
sure.
So yes, take your pick. There's no shortage of good-looking people on this show.
Everyone's good. Everyone's good looking. So I'm like, whatever. Wait, how do we get on this?
We're just running through the. We're just running
that we're introduced
through. Yeah. I mean, we've got Ortegas. So they're going after Una, right?
And
who doesn't do downtime well.
Going back to what we were saying about Christopher Pike and him being haunted, and we see him right by the future, and we see him in Montana. Montana is gorgeous. Like, I know we've seen it in the trailers, but honestly, when he's like riding his horse through the snow, and you see the wind turbines, wind turbines, and then the shuttle flies in. Oh my God, it was gorgeous scene.
Yeah, it was
so cinematic. It's like, because you see the far shot of him on his horse just like riding through the snow, and it's like a small dot, and then the shuttle flies in, and I don't know, they just did it really well. Like, the whole scene, and
it's a great opening.
So good. It's just so well executed.
Well, even from the beginning, right? So even before that scene, so that's after his captain sleepover happens. But his nice little house in the mountains of Montana, which is also gorgeous. And the classic movie playing on the thing and just what it's saying.
What movie was that? Do you know?
Yes, I do know, and it was just remade a few years ago with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, the Day the Earth Stood Still? Is that?
Yes, thank you. Yes,
the original.
That's it.
Okay,
the original. That was the original. Yeah, that's the original. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Okay. So I thought that was a nice touch to that, and the fact that Captain Bates, is that her name? I think.
I don't know. Captain with benefits.
Captain with benefits, Bates. Yeah. She mentions that he seems to really like this film, and he's playing it on loop or whatever every day or whatever, which is interesting. So So she's been around. She's been around more than once. If she knows that it's his favorite movie.
Yes. Captain with benefits.
So, but I thought it was nice that she said, "You know what? I hope you're not here." So everyone's kind of pulling for him to get back out into space because that's where he belongs. But trumping all of this is Admiral Robert Bob April, the original captain of the Enterprise, coming to get him to go rescue Una. And then we, go to Vulcan for a little mating ritual here. So we meet T'Pring, which is really fascinating.
And Vulcan looks great. Vulcan, the restaurant they were in was really beautiful.
Everything that this episode is just replete with so many great visuals.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just threw money at it. I don't.
This is so. My only regret that we didn't get invited to the premiere is that I didn't get to see this on the big screen. But that being said, because that would be a big screen. But I think I might even watch it again on the big screen.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it on your TV
next weekend when I get back. I will. So we get Vulcan, we get Spock. And interestingly, T'Pring calls Pike, "Hey, Chris."
Chris, hey.
Yeah, she calls him
really
Chris.
Know their background, I guess, but it just seemed very informal for Vulcan.
For a Vulcan, for a Vulcan. But she calls him Chris, which I thought was really interesting. And she was also like, he's not naked, but he was about to be.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And I think they're trying to play into the more caged Spock, but then also kind of like early, but letting that be kind of like maybe the standard for Vulcans, where yes, they're in control of their emotions, but they're not so in control of their emotions because T'Pring is obviously annoyed. She's annoyed, and she's being salty. You know what I mean?
She is being salty.
A little passive aggressive and salty, but then also kind of direct and salty. And she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna chase you around forever." So it was interesting. I actually think it's an interesting balance because even when there are moments when between T'Pring and Spock, like some of their more intimate moments when they were smiling a little, not like a big smile, but like a small smile. So it wasn't like your usual, I would say, completely emotionless Vulcan.
There was playfulness.
There's a little bit more, there's a little
playfulness in there,
more, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that.
I think one of the things that I'm watching this show and I'm like, this does not look like the Enterprise that I remember. I'm okay with it. It's a modern Enterprise. It's a modern show. I like it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. There are times where I kind of go back and forth in my head and be like, this is not the original Enterprise. But so I keep on, I do struggle with that a little bit because we've talked, I think last week we talked a little bit about how big the quarters are on this ship.
God, so large. Almost impractically large for a military ship, but sure.
For sure. That's but I think also we call it a military ship, but in reality it's a ship of exploration. And
it is, but it's Starfleet's a little bit of both, right? It's also it's I think they've been described as the Federation's peacekeeping armada or something.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of okay, an armada is usually not necessarily what you would associate with, just non-military, but sure, they're peacekeeping armada.
I mean, but anyway, it's a beautiful ship. It's gorgeous. Everything about this is just, it screams beauty and
it looks expensive.
Yes, it looks expensive. It looks expensive. Yes, absolutely. I don't, it looks amazing. Honestly, I don't know if we've ever talked about this before. I would want to live. I want to live on this Enterprise.
Oh, this Enterprise. I wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't mind
this
this
Enterprise?
or like the Enterprise. The Enterprise T was. I think we've talked about this.
Well, yes, we did talk about this. You would
because the
love to
Enterprise
live
T
on
is
the
also kind
Enterprise
of
C.
luxurious, but when compared to this Enterprise, the quarters are nothing like this.
Yeah, no, this is yes.
But do they
it's
have
great.
do they have an arboretum or cetacean ops? I don't think so.
Maybe not, but anyway, so they go on this rescue mission for Una, and we see the USS Archer, which it's nice to see again a ship that was designed back. I don't know if you.
We didn't even talk about the teaser, which I loved. The teaser where you get the aliens' perspective, and they're like, "There's a UFO." Remember? You know what I'm talking about? It's the very beginning episode. It's on Riley. And USS Archer.
They detect it.
It has all the tropes of like a U.S. military like site.
Yes, it does. Yep, it does.
Yep. It's like, but it's the aliens' perspective, you know.
Yes, true. You're right. I've totally forgot about the
And you have also Una's voiceover, like the one that's in the trailers.
Yes. Yeah.
And I actually really like that. I thought that, from the aliens' perspective, it's like we're like the aliens, like, you know, the Federation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I actually really like that.
I did too. I thought that was really nice.
Sets up the rest of the episode really well, particularly when you get into Pike's like whole speech and like blah 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 whatever later on. But yeah, I thought that was an excellent teaser.
To see that style starship is a huge throwback to, I don't know if you ever had the original, we both had Scotty's Guide to the Enterprise, but before that was a black covered book on the original Enterprise, and it showed other ship classes, including the kind of the cruiser that is the USS Archer.
Like the one
nacelle and so it was really cool to see that.
Okay, I don't remember that specific reference. It reminded me of the Kelvin from 2009.
This is I can see this is from the essentially the Federation guide to, I'll try to find the book title,
okay,
it's essentially the blueprints, not the official, like there is a blueprints of the Enterprise. This is like a book of blueprints. It's got the UFP charter in it and a bunch of other things.
Okay.
It's actually kind of cool. But it has these other class ships, and this is one of them. The design is familiar in that way. So I thought that was a really nice throwback to the original Trek.
Sure.
And Archer, of course, great callback.
Yes, of course.
Great callback. So they get there and then they're attacked, and so they. I'm sure we're skipping over some pieces, but it's fine. Like we get there, we're going to save Una.
They are attacked with plasma torpedoes or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then they realize that, oh wait, there's like no subspace chatter. They have nothing in orbit. Yeah. They're saying like there's no reason, there's no way that this is a species that has achieved warp technology yet. And then Spock was the one that said, it's not. Actually, it looks like a warp bomb.
Yeah.
Which basically antimatter bomb, I guess. It's like
and then Lon basically says, shields up, like get the shields up. Like, trust me, Captain. Like, so the other piece of all of this, right, is that you get this mysterious new character who's the head of security, who's suddenly promoted to number one. Mm-hmm. So there's this whole piece, which I don't know by the end of the episode I completely understand.
Because she does. Una comes back and then Pike offers
they
her
have a chat.
Commission.
Yeah.
But then I was like, wait, so was she not already an officer? That was a little confusing. I wasn't quite sure about that.
Yeah, because she was head of security, and then she was, it is kind of weird. I guess if for Pike's kind of perspective, like he never really somehow she got on the ship, and he didn't really choose her, maybe, and he wanted the option to choose her.
But I would think that she's already commissioned on the Enterprise, and then she just got like a bump to first officer because Spock wanted to stay at science.
But I don't
So
know,
I
but
thought-
that was a little
that part.
confusing.
It didn't really bother me. I was like, okay, sure.
No. But he does make her explain it after the fact. But we see our first away mission, which is, set up to go back. You need to do some facial changes, and in this
But what
way,
happened? Remember the TNG era though? Like it was just a little plastic surgery. It was like it wasn't like let's change your genome. Like because I was like, it would have been easier if they actually just did. Bashir, Beverly and Bashir, they would do plastic surgery. And then maybe give them some contacts or something versus like let's change your genome for a minute, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. I thought
maybe
that
decide to abandon that because it's too unstable. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's possible because she Nurse Chapel brings that on board. That's something that she brings to the table.
Yeah, maybe it's
not something that
more experimental.
Not something that Mbenga has in his repertoire, but this is something that she brings to the table. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then Lon refuses the sedative, which I'm still not clear on by the end of the episode either. But anyway, I love.
What do you mean? She just wants to be. I think she just wants to be like fully aware. She doesn't like the idea of having her senses dulled. Maybe.
Yeah, but it just feels mysterious and weird. It doesn't feel like.
Oh really? I just think she's just she's very intense, and
she is very intense.
Very intense, and she's like, no, I need to be in my A game. Don't give me a sedative because she doesn't want.
Yeah. She's a little too intense, and she's
very intense. She's very, very,
very intense, as we see later on, in further down the line.
Absolutely.
So they beam down, which I think is really great. You see them come into the. So what I love is that they program their clothing into the transporter.
Yeah, that's so advanced.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool, actually. And
it was cool. And then Spock didn't have pants or something.
Yeah, it didn't have pants, but. Yeah, they didn't really solve that, did they? They left him without pants.
Pants, but then they got the uniforms from the scientists.
From the scientists, right? Yeah. So I thought that it was just an enjoyable like first contact, covert mission, rescue mission, find out what the heck's going on here.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of cloak and dagger. I love the pushing Kyle to figure out a way to get this medicine into him.
His eye.
Into his eye, like now. And I think, give the brilliant cute Asian guy a challenge here. And Ortegas is like, why does this always happen on while I'm on the bridge? I thought that, again, we're seeing her like sarcasm, her spunkiness, which we really enjoy. And she's like, figure out a way, and he does. So all this to say, you find Una in the basement, and then you give it up. You like beam them up, and like, we're responsible for this.
Oh yeah, well then that's the whole reveal that they have this technology because are very close. They were very close to the battle of control or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And they were from that able to extrapolate the technology for, I guess, matter, antimatter, like whatever.
Yeah, something. So Pike, feeling responsible, goes and talks to the president, but she doesn't really listen. She's like, right now I have the bigger stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this. He's like, I love that argument, and I love that he just calls out to the communicator and then tells the Enterprise to come into the sky. I thought that was so cool. He's like, now who has the bigger stick?
Yeah, I think the thing I like about this episode is that this is where, and I know I've talked about this, but I think this is where Strange New Worlds is paying off, is these aliens are essentially a metaphor for us, right?
For us right now.
For us right now. For us right
literally,
now.
like right now.
Right. And it's all about like, who has the power, who has the bigger stick is the one that wins. And that segues really well into Pike's whole argument, right? About you can go and destroy yourselves because that's what happened to us, or you can choose a different path. And I really like that. And it was like, yes, it was making the point without like being overly preachy. And it's like, we get it. And I think, that makes it sometimes I think about this, like, like we're just so, as a people, like humans, we're just so divided that I feel we need something like that existential, like
to wake us up. Yeah,
the aliens from another planet. Like it would take something like that crazy. Sometimes I feel to make us figure out or make us realize that our squabbles mean nothing. And I think this was an excellent example of how that would work. Like I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have to figure things out. But it was.
I would say right now that we're right on target for our Star Trek future.
And one thing we didn't talk about, by the way, for Picard, and this is also aligning with Strange New Worlds, is that apparently the eugenic wars are happening next. Now it's not the 90s anymore.
Oh, it's
going to happen. Like
we didn't even talk about Project Khan. Yes. Yeah.
And now they've rewritten things a little bit, so it's not the 90s. It's maybe the 2020s, 2030s, and then Civil War, eugenics wars, and then we're gonna have
the second Civil War, the eugenics war, and then World War III. Yeah.
So we have that to look forward.
Yeah.
Apparently now.
Great. That's awesome. Yes. Thank you for giving me hope.
But apparently we need to go through all that before 2063 first contact,
before we get visited by aliens.
But no, I love the scene, and also it was in the trailers, but where the Enterprise goes into low orbit, and it's just there.
And then he later on beams right into the middle of their arguments and does this presentation of Earth's history.
But before that, remember he so this is after Spock and his discussion with the president. They're back on the Enterprise somehow. We're just kind of skip back to back on the Enterprise, and then it's him, La'an, and Spock. So yes, before we get to the scene where Pike goes down and interrupts them, we're back on the Enterprise, and there's a conversation between Pike, Spock, and La'an, and they're kind of just debating a little bit. And
I do vaguely remember.
And then La'an is like, La'an just is kind of just upset, and she's like, not believing you're gonna die is what gets you killed. That's what she says. Not believing you're gonna die is what gets you killed. And she says this because she's sort of reflecting. She also talks a little bit about her background, and this is a quote that her father said to her, and she also explains that she was a lone survivor from the Gorn attack. But this makes Pike it makes him realize his own situation where he knows it's going to die, so he can use that as as like a learning experience versus kind of like not knowing that's coming. And then it also helps him to realize that he needs to show these people that if they continue on this path, they're all gonna die. So
So
this is actually, I kind of butchered it, but it was actually a very well articulated scene between the three of them, and it's also what spurs Pike to kind of be like, pull of the archives. I show them like what our history was like.
Yeah, like break into their communication so you can share this is what I think he directs Cadet Uhura to do.
Correct.
In this episode. So they leave that there. This planet's going to become part of the Federation now, and they go back and
Oh, but then we go down and he shows like World War III happening on Earth, by the way.
Yeah. No, that's we he beams down and
and we see like New York in the flames. Like
yes, New York and Paris blown off the face of the earth. Yeah. That was fun to see.
And then he offers to let them join the Federation, which is definitely not usual, because usually they wait until it's not only like
right, but also
they wait until they like one government, but
also this is pre-Prime Directive, so the Prime Directive actually like
apparently
gets more solidified after this incident.
And then Robert April said there was a loophole because of the whole
and he got sworn into what happened to Discovery, so he knows all of that now, which is interesting. And apparently Lon does too, knows some of those details, because he knows like you can't share that, but he's like, I don't care, which I kind of like that. I kind of like that he's and I said this last week, he's the perfect balance between Picard and Kirk.
Right.
He's like got that I don't care, like that cowboy mentality, which makes sense with the horse in the mountains and Montana and all that. But he's also got this, he's also really super diplomatic, as we saw in Discovery season 2. So, he's a calm, cool, he doesn't overreact. He's very thoughtful in his approach to things. So I think that, it's a great highlight for him to do all this and then to have April kind of cover, get them out of the trouble that they're in. He uses his last vestiges of like political capital or whatever you want to call it, and gets them out of it. And then they, then they're off to basically start a new 5-year mission. Essentially, is what I'm sort of gathering, is that they're going to, this is the start of their new 5-year mission. Go out and explore.
I guess. I guess so.
Yeah, because he comes back onto the bridge and says, and Ortegas asks him what the mission is, and he says, seek out life and new civilizations, and Uhura says,
cool.
It's cool, which is like really like I like her. I like her tilliness, which I think she's going to be another great addition to this crew. Having a cadet who's kind of wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready for this sort of work.
So
I think really strong out of the gates. Had all the hallmarks of continuity, of adventure, of peril, of
and I like that at the end of the day, it's like a lot of it revolves around the development of a character, right? It's about like the whole thing really revolves around Pike and him getting over the vision that he got on Boreth and kind of embracing his fate, right? And being able to see it as something that he can use versus something that is debilitating.
Right.
And I even everything with the mission and everything that happened, it kind of all revolves around that realization. So that's at the end of the day, it's about the characters. It's about the characters and not just what's happening.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It is about the characters, and also throughout all of this, while we're getting this deep dive into Pike, we're meeting a lot of the new crew and getting to know them and their dynamic. I think we do. We get to see a little bit of each one. I think we definitely get to see a little bit more of M'Benga and Chapel in this one. With some, with little bits of Uhura and Ortegas.
Everyone gets a chance to shine at some point.
So. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they highlight each character going forward. So I'm really, really excited for it, and I think this is going to be a great new show, and I'm excited to talk more about it. So bring it on. And we're back to just having one episode a week for another 9 weeks, which takes us up to when I pretty much go away for vacation. So,
oh my God. Yeah.
I think
Crazy.
so. A lot of fun. I enjoy this. This is also a show where I feel like I can watch it again and again and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't really have any complaints.
No.
Yeah, I really,
wow,
I really did think this is an excellent pilot.
Let's just make a quick note of the time, 11:19 on Sunday, May 8th.
All right.
Johnson is overly positive about Star Trek.
Anything I didn't like. I can't even think of anything, to be honest.
Yeah. And the one character that I do really like that they're highlighting in this show is the Enterprise. The Enterprise is its own character, and it's beautiful.
Luxurious.
Still not. So my only struggle is with engineering. That's the only struggle I have with this ship. I'm fine with everything else. I'm struggling with engineering, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well,
just like the star dates, it'll be fine.
Everything on this ship is really big. Like, that's the thing. Yes. It doesn't really. The thing is, the crew quarters. It literally, if everyone got a quarter, like not everyone does, but even if there were like a number of those quarters that were that large, it's like there's like no space for anything else. The engine is massive. Sick bay, we see in a later episode, they blow it up.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Massive. It's like huge. It's like I think it's 2 floors too.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They were like, oh, we expanded it because there was that was the situation, but it was insane how big. Everything's big. This is the thing. I don't think we'll be able to reconcile the amount of space that's inside the Enterprise with how large everything is, including the crew quarters, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Like, if we wanted something more realistic, you would think like Enterprise, like the 2000 Enterprise, where literally it's a submarine. Like all the quarters are small. That's actually more realistic than this.
Yeah. But it's fine. You know
okay.
what?
I'm okay with it. Because I kind of like the eye candy. I'm actually fine with it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful set. This set is just amazing. So kudos to them. Well, it's getting late, and I think we should wrap this up.
I think it's been 2 hours. Yeah. So
yeah, this is another.
Well, we had 2 to talk about.
Whirlwind Deep Space Pride going on here, and I'm going to jump in and talk about Fansets.
Yes, please do.
So Fansets is the exclusive sponsor of Deep Space Pride and the Trek Geeks podcast network, and the Delta's Done Right collection is taking off, and it's hot. I mean, we've seen the Delta from Star Trek 2. We now have a Delta from the motion picture, which I got, which is really nice. It's magnetic, but they have even more coming. And the motion picture Delta is from May 1st, but on May 15th, they're going to release the Delta from Future Imperfect, the TNG Delta from Future Imperfect, which is really cool. They just released that promo for that this weekend. So head on over to Fansets. You're gonna put a bunch of pins. If you love deltas, you're gonna and they even previewed some future deltas and drawings. So this is a set that's really taking off. On top of the Master Ships collection, which I still am staring at my Enterprise A right there on the shelf, both magnetic and it's in its stand form right now, but check it out. I mean, there's so many great pins over there. And if you like other fandoms, they have Harry Potter, Rick and Morty, Scooby-Doo, Big Bang Theory, DC Comics, Batman 66. Head on over to fansets.com, put a bunch of pins in your cart. And as a listener to Deep Space Pride, you can save 10% by using the code word TrekGeeks at checkout. And also remember, you're going to get free shipping in the US on orders of $30 or more. So head on over to Fansets. We love the team at Fansets. They're amazing, and we want to thank them for sponsoring Deep Space Pride and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Thanks, Fansets. All right,
Johnson,
cool. Well,
how can our lovely listeners tell us how they feel about Strange New Worlds, the Picard finale, or anything else Star Trek related?
yes, you beat me to the punch. I was just about to segue into that. So we will love
I know
to hear
you
from
were.
everyone.
You're rolling
Yes.
your eyes at me. I understand.
It's totally fine. So yeah, we would love to hear from everyone. You can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com, or you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Deep Space Pride. And yeah, again, we would love to hear from you.
And we're going to try to get back into posting on Instagram. Hint, hint, social media manager. I am more active on Twitter, so I will take care of the Twitter end of things. But
okay.
I do need our social media manager, who does not yet have an intern.
I need an intern.
So
if anyone wants to be an intern, you can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com, or you can reach us on social media at deepspacepride.
We'll try to be more. I am going to press Johnson to be more active with the Instagram post, and we'll hopefully attract more listeners to our podcast through some social media engagement. But that's it. That was a super long episode. I don't know how long this was. It was 90 minutes at least, if not longer.
Yeah. Well, it was an hour and 50 or so.
Oh, nice. Excellent. A world record for Deep Space Pride. Who is going to listen to us for an hour and 50 minutes? I hope it's you, listener.
That's a long episode.
But anyway, we have fun doing this. We hope you enjoy our banter. And I promise that somehow we will find that disagreeable Johnson once again. He will find something not to like about something Star Trek. Possibly.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get like another threshold episode, and you'll love it and I'll hate it.
Maybe. Or you'll start to pay attention to star dates and you'll realize how inane they are.
Star dates never have bothered. They don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yes,
so it doesn't really
it's all over the
bother
place
me
anyway.
that much.
Clearly it's bothering me because I brought it up once again. But anyway,
I understand.
Let's put a wrap on this episode. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you here next week.
Bye everyone.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com, or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut